everyone, welcome back to the channel. Listen, if you are thinking of moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, or maybe you already have it on the radar, there are some things you need to know before you take that big leap to move here. In today's video, we are going to be diving into 10 things that you must know about life in Charlotte. Trust me, you are going to want to know these things, and spoiler alert, Charlotte might not be for everybody. So stay tuned and let's jump in. Charlotte is North Carolina's largest city. It is also a big financial hub. So you have big banking giants like Wells Fargo and Bank of America that are headquartered here. My name is Morgan Woodhead. I'm a real estate agent here in the Charlotte area. If you are looking to move here, please feel free to reach out to me. My information is in the description below. I would love to talk with you and see how I can help you with relocating to the area. All right, let's talk about the first thing on our list today, which is traffic. Charlotte's traffic is no joke. I'm not kidding. If you go on to any Facebook pages about coming to Charlotte, you will find that traffic is probably the first thing that is talked about. Whether you're on I-77 or I-485, those are kind of the main interstates or in and around Charlotte, you are definitely going to be stuck in congestion in rush hour. It can definitely get frustrating day in and day out, and if you are used to a more laid back pace of driving, if you're moving from like say a small town or smaller area, this may be something that is new to you, so just be prepared. In Charlotte, traffic's pretty bad. And the reason for that is the city's growing a ton and the infrastructure just is not keeping up with it. And honestly, there's not a lot of walkability around the city in the suburbs, which means a lot of people are driving vehicles. The roads don't even usually have a shoulder on them, so even walking or riding a bike can be difficult. And the public transportation, which I will talk about a little bit later, isn't totally on par, so you will be seeing a lot of car traveling or car sharing type Uber Lyfts around the city. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you are wanting to commute to work. Either plan for extra time in the morning and afternoons to travel to and from home and work, or just find a place that might be closer to your office. All right, number 2 is weather. Now, Charlotte does have a mild climate here. We have all 4 seasons. They're pretty even, but I will say those summer months are hot. Oftentimes the summer can hit into those 90s, high 90s plus humidity, so you are just a sweaty, hot mess. So if you're here anytime between May and September, you may be thinking, what am I doing here? Because it is hot and you're just sticky. So definitely something to consider when moving here. It does get very warm in the summer. The good news is Charlotte does offer a lot of lakes or pools that you can use to cool off in the summer. A lot of these newer developments that are going in Charlotte have pools in them, so it's great for the family. You can go cool off at the pool. We also have a lot of lakes around here, so like Lake Norman, which is north of Charlotte, large freshwater lake. You could go jump in and cool off, or we also have Lake Wiley, which is more towards the south. So a lot of great options to be able to cool off in that summer heat. Number 3 on our list is cost of living. Charlotte is not as expensive as some of these bigger cities like New York or San Francisco, but I will say the cost of living has been steadily rising here in the last 2 or 3 years. And while the city is still pretty affordable compared to these other areas, you may be in for a bit of a surprise when you come in and look for housing, so just make sure it fits within your budget that you're looking for to find a home here. The housing market has definitely been heating up in some specific areas. We're seeing a lot of new build growth in and around Charlotte. So if you are coming from that smaller area and moving into the city, you will see that those prices may be a little bit more than what you were hoping. There are definitely some areas that people may start to feel priced out of buying their first home or buying rent, but I will say that there's a lot of great options around the city that still feel affordable. And if you have any questions about those areas, feel free to contact me. I'd love to chat with you about it. As far as groceries, gas prices, things like that, it seems to be pretty comparable to other cities in the United States. It's pretty even kill as far as going to the grocery store, going out to eat. Very similar to other cities like Charlotte in the US. Number 4 is that their job market here can be pretty competitive. As I said before, Charlotte is known for its banking and financial sector. With the big names like Bank of America and Wells Fargo, there are definitely a lot of opportunities for jobs, but it can be pretty competitive in these type of sectors. If you're not in banking or finance, there are definitely a lot of other opportunities. NASCAR is a very large corporation, especially north of Charlotte in the Mooresville area, as well as Lowe's Home Improvement headquarters. And so there are a lot of opportunities and growth in certain areas, but you will find a lot of competition, especially as a lot of people are continuing to move here. Number 5, we're going to be talking about Southern culture. Now, this one may surprise a few of you because on one hand, there's a lot of people who love to just talk about their day whenever with somebody at the grocery store, which is what Southern culture is. And on the other hand, you may not be somebody who wants to chat about that. While this is something that a lot of people love about Charlotte, it may not be for everyone. The charm with the Southern hospitality can definitely be great, but you may be somebody who just kind of wants that no-nonsense vibe, like don't talk to me, and when you're in the South, pretty much everyone's gonna want to talk to you. So if you're coming from an area with a faster paced vibe, this might be something that is very new to you. Don't be surprised if somebody comes up and says, "Oh, bless your heart," when you're having a bad day. It's just a Southern charm. All right, number 6, we're going to be talking about limited transportation. The public transportation offered in Charlotte is not extensive. They have a light rail and a bus station that can take you to some parts of the city, but definitely doesn't reach everywhere. So unless you live by one of these options, you'll probably want to have a car to travel around. So if you're coming from these larger cities like New York and Washington, D.C. that have these big infrastructures for public transportation, you will definitely be let down here in Charlotte. We just don't offer that as much, and you'll most likely need a vehicle to get around. All right, number 7, and they get their own spot on the list, and it's mosquitoes. In the summer, if you are by a body of water, you are going to be eaten alive. It's just, it's how it goes here. And it's interesting because you'll be by this body of water and you'll be like, no, I feel fine. And then the next morning you'll wake up with probably like 50 mosquito bites on your legs and your arms, and it's just, it wreaks havoc. So they do get their own spot, and it's definitely something to be aware of that they are present here in North Carolina, and because of the humidity and the climate and the area, they're just everywhere. So be prepared. Number 8, we're going to be talking about our public school ratings. There are definitely areas of Charlotte that have great public schools, and then other areas that can be kind of hit or miss. The quality of education can depend on the school district that you're in, so it's definitely something to research before you get here. What school district and school areas are going to be best for you and your family. A lot of schools in these areas that are growing a lot are becoming overcrowded, so that is definitely something that needs to be worked on throughout the state, and there are places and websites that you can go to find out more about schools and their ratings. Niche.com is a great way to look at that, as well as greatschools.com. For number 9, we are going to be talking about growing crime rates. Unfortunately, as Charlotte has been growing, there have been some growing crime rates in Charlotte as well as in the suburbs. We've seen an uptick in crimes related to property and car theft. So it's definitely good to go in and to get an idea of the neighborhood you're moving to or wanting to live in. Talk to the neighbors, see what's been going on from people who live there. I think that's the best source to go to know, hey, do you guys feel safe here? Has there been any issues, any crimes, things like that? So definitely something to research and look into before you move to Charlotte. All right, we made it to the last one, number 10, and we're going to talk about hurricanes. So this is interesting because Charlotte is not directly on the coast. So when you think of hurricanes, you don't maybe think that Charlotte is going to get hit, but as we saw in 2024 with Hurricane Helene totally destroying western North Carolina, it can definitely happen, and we felt Hurricane Helene here, obviously not to that extent, but a lot of downed trees, a ton of power outages, heavy rainfall, winds, things like that. So things to be prepared for when you move out here, that during hurricane season, there's definitely that potential to have that weather come through and kind of wreak havoc a little bit. It can through certain parts of Charlotte. So if you are wanting to move to Charlotte, just be prepared with potentially flood insurance or asking your real estate agent if the home you're looking at is on a floodplain, and just having a plan in case the weather does get severe. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can know when I drop new videos about living in Charlotte. Leave a comment below, let me know if you have any questions or if you wish there was something that you knew before moving to Charlotte. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching.